Dear learners, in this session, we shall be discussing meaning of conflict and then how to manage conflict, that is conflict management. What is the meaning of conflict? It is an active disagreement between people with opposing opinions or principles. Thomas in 1976 defines conflict as the process which begins when one party perceives that the other has frustrated or is about to frustrate some concern of his. Conflict between teachers and principals. In an educational institution, we find that the teachers and principals they face conflicts. Now, principal is the authority figure, and the teachers are expected to uh, obey his orders. And we find that there may be many reasons for having conflicts between teachers and principals, and these reasons are teachers do not obey principals, teachers do not follow rules, teachers do not get along with their principals, and many times the principals are autocratic. That means they do not involve the teachers or do not seek their suggestions in decision making. Even in the workplace or at home, we find that there are conflicts between individuals. Now, what are the reasons for having the conflict between individuals? Individuals may have different past experiences, and these different past experiences may determine their perceptions. So, they have different perceptions based on their past experiences. Now, the individuals also have different motivation. Maybe one individual wants to work when he or she gets rewards. The other individual may be self motivated. For him, the concern for the students is more. Then there are different interests and different personal objectives also. Now, there are different sources of conflict. First of all, if we have limited resources in terms of reading materials, the number of rooms, the books available in the library. So, because of the limited resources, conflict may arise. Then we find that there are interdependent work activities. Here, let me take one example of a school where there are a number of teachers. Let me take the example of biology department. Now, if there are 5 teachers in the biology department and they are teaching different classes and taking different sections. Now, they are also interdependent in terms of deciding the content to be covered in a, let's say, trimester examination. Now, the pace at which they are expected to cover the content, then questions to be framed for the test, completion of the syllabus. Now, in case any of the teacher is moving slow or fast, then they tend to have a conflict. Even it has been seen that most of the teachers they have a preference for certain kind of responsibility. Everybody wants to be a housemaster, and this is preferred over the role of a house member. Then there are different types of co-curricular activities. Teachers may prefer some particular type of co-curricular activities. They may prefer to take the charge of some particular type of co-curricular activity. Then they may want to become the class teacher of some specific classes, let's say ninth, 10th, 11th or 12th. They may not prefer the class teachership of the lower classes. Then we find that there is a differentiation of activities. The activities are differentiated in a school, and that could be the cause of the conflict. Another thing is communication problem. This is the most common problem. Either we do not communicate clearly or convey vague ideas. So communication channels must also be kept open. Then the difference in perception. Some incident can be perceived, same incident can be perceived differently. Like behavior of the students. One teacher may be very open, whereas others may restrict the freedom of the students. Then environment of the organization. This also plays a very important role, that whether the environment gives you freedom to express your opinion or not. Is conflict required in an institution? Conflict is needed because it helps raise and address the problems. How will you become aware of the problems if there is no conflict? Conflict arises and you become aware of the problems. Conflict energizes work to be on the most appropriate issues, where to focus, helps people to be real, helps people to learn how to recognize and benefit from their differences. Next, I want to discuss conflict stimulation techniques. Now, what are the conflict stimulation techniques? Before discussing the conflict stimulation techniques, let me discuss what is conflict stimulation. Let's say that conflict is at a very low level, and we use now methods to increase this conflict so that it comes in the open and later it can be resolved. The first method is communication for conflict stimulation. Now, what is communication? Here, we are using some, vague language or sending some threatening messages so that the conflict level increases. Second, bringing an outsider, another employee. Let's take another teacher. The teacher is added to a group whose background or values or attitudes and managerial style is very different from the other members of the group. So it tend to create conflict. Restructuring organization. Now the purpose is to disturb the existing state of affairs, and it can be done by realigning work groups, altering rules and regulations, increasing interdependence, making similar structural changes, and the purpose is to disrupt the existing state of affairs. Another strategy, another technique for conflict stimulation is appointing a devil's advocate. It means that organization can create the conflict by appointing a devil's advocate. This type of person solves the problem differently of the members of the organization. He works as conflict motivator. Now, if this person has good skills, knowledge, and mind, he can be good advocator of organization. Now, next, let's move to the conflict resolution structural techniques. Now, when we come to the conflict resolution structural techniques, it means how to resolve the conflict, how to handle the conflicting situation. Conflict resolution structural techniques are required when the conflict level is very high, then it needs to be managed. And most of the conflict resolution techniques, they employ some form of negotiation, that means discussion aimed at reaching an agreement as a primary method of communication between the parties. Now, the first conflict resolution structural technique is conflict avoidance. avoid the conflict. When should we avoid the conflict? Why should we avoid the conflict? Should it be avoided? Now, when you as administrator feel that conflict is not very serious and you cannot identify the causes of a conflict and provide solutions, so you tend to avoid it or you tend to ignore it. Ignoring the conflicting situation and taking it easy by agreeing to the demands of one of the parties is another conflict avoidance situation. You don't want to face the conflicting situation, maybe out of fear. You don't want to respond or resolve the conflict. This also comes under avoidance. Let's take an example. A principal uses avoidance strategies, but he is not seen as a good leader. Rather, he is seen as lacking courage, and subordinates may increasingly create conflicting situations to weaken such principle. Also, any issues once avoided may surface again in the course of time, but if intense emotions are involved, avoidance may serve as good escape strategy. When employees or your students in an educational institution, they are now in a more congenial or in a very harmonious mood, the issues can be slowly taken up. But completely avoiding the conflict is not advisable because in such a scenario, it might turn worse from bad. Second conflict resolution structural technique is conflict diffusion. This strategy involves the delaying of the decision so that the cooling down of the situation takes place. It may also involve focusing on necessary issues to avoid the main problem for some time. This strategy may help momentarily in avoiding the problem. It cannot be a permanent solution, may help you for some time in avoiding the problem, but it also results in anxiety about the future and dissatisfaction of the concerned parties. Third technique is conflict confrontation. Now, facing the conflict and confrontation may involve negotiation and use of authority. Anybody having power or authority like principal may use this strategy and may decide in favor of one of the parties or the other. He may punish somebody and take decisions to rectify the situation. So, in this case, the use of authority as well as negotiation is involved. Then comes the fourth technique, that is conflict containment or prevention of conflict. Now, it has been seen that in educational institutions, to contain conflict, the public assurances are given that the school is in safe hands through the selective application and enforcement of school policies and through other private contacts with middle class and upper middle class parents who might expand the scope of conflict or exercise the exit option if their preferences are not accommodated. So influential parents have a upper hand in school decisions because school administrators and teachers anticipate their interests and adjust accordingly. One example of adjustment, such type of adjustment is Confining agendas to safe issues, that is, shut down those who raise challenging issues. So, the most important message is that conflict is not the same as discomfort. It is not the problem. It is a problem when it is not properly managed or handled. Thank you very much for the session.